official launch event for the National Collegiate Entertainers Group, a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting the future leaders in music and entertainment. So let me first introduce myself. My name is Derek Jackson, and for the past 10 years, I've been running an ongoing social experiment centered on music industry education. Many of you here today have been a part of this experiment, either through research, interviews, collaborations, or even as test subjects maybe. As a function of this experiment, every year of NCEG's history has been a little different from year to year in order to test for various control groups and factors designed to answer specific problems that plague the music industry. Today, we're here to review the results of that research and the problems that we set out to address. Problem number one is technology disruption. Essentially, since the introduction of the MP3 format, the industry has been consistently struggling to adapt to new technology. The result is revenue disruptions that affect the top of the food chain all the way down. To address this, we chose to reimagine the college campus role in relation to our industry as if we were making use of it the same way that other industries do. For example, take MIT's role in the technology sector, schools like UGA regarding agriculture, or even Emory's role in healthcare. These schools serve as hubs of research and development for new solutions to their industry's problems. They test ideas and innovations, oftentimes even before they become available to the general public. Problem number two is what we call incentivized gatekeeping. To be clear here, when I use the term gatekeeping, it's not meant to indicate malicious intent. Instead, we recognize gatekeeping as a function of a sustainable business model within the music industry. Even so, we must face the facts that legally and historically, the only people guaranteed to profit from the economics of the music industry are the major media companies. Everyone else, including major record labels and their sub-labels, make their profits by playing in the margins. So deal makers are often left with little alternative but to leverage the things that they do have, which is generally going to be access and knowledge. The horror stories that we're all familiar with are almost always attributed to the gap in knowledge from the person offering the deal to the person accepting it, meaning that there exists a logical reason for why a deal maker might not share every bit of information going into a deal. But combine that rationale with the fact that so many young artists are discovered before the age of 18, and you have a recipe for disaster. And then problem number three is the costs associated with development. Let's be honest. The industry has done a really, really good job of making greatness look very easy. But anyone who's been in this industry for any time at all knows how much time, effort, and money goes into development. Even if you have all the knowledge and talent in the world, it doesn't replace the need for tangible implementation. You need the right people in the right place, in the right time, with the right motivations in order to make any form of art generate revenue. So when we're talking about development, we're not just talking about artist development, though artist development in and of itself could cost a ton of money. We're also talking about workforce development, the cost associated with building the right team of people in order to make and monetize artistic work. In pursuit of a solution to these systematic problems in our industry, since 2014, we've interacted with over 250 companies spanning all areas of the industry to identify key pain points and identify possible areas for collaborations and a fix. We've signed up over 1,000 students across 8 universities to participate in various activities and experiments, and we've generated over $100,000 in revenue from partnerships, collaborations, and events with no major corporate backing or grant funding. To address the issue with tech disruption, we ran multiple experiments providing students with access to emerging technology, including AI, virtual reality, and motion capture. And what we found was that the students were not only able to grasp the concepts fairly quickly, they were also able to apply them to commercial settings. To address the incentives associated with gatekeeping, we put our professionals in the role of professors, allowing them to play the role of mentor while students took the lead and rewarded both parties based on the results of the final deliverable. And finally, to address the costs associated with development, we leveraged common, underutilized resources located at academic institutions to lower the overhead costs. Then we brought in sponsors like Native Instruments, Amazon Music, and even Squarespace to provide access to additional resources and funding as needed. But the most important data point for our organization to track was the impact of how the members of our organization would behave once they graduated and left the program. To that point, I'm proud to say that even without full operation and support structure of the program, our members and alumni include Billboard charting and Grammy-nominated professionals who continue to reach new heights and even collaborate with each other beyond the shared campus experience. That brings us to today. The culmination of a decade of research has finally allowed us to build a goal-centric community that utilizes shared knowledge and experience to train professionals and launch new brands. I give you the official NCEG training system, the framework to establish an NCAA of the music industry. The greatest talent that our industry can produce is usually the talent that starts young. But as we've established, development is expensive. So we've built a platform that allows educational institutions to facilitate this process in a way that's both affordable and revenue generating. We call this program the Industry's New Deal. Part one of the Industry's New Deal is that industry professionals utilize their skill sets for artist development in service of academic institutions rather than major corporations and record labels. Part two is that students' professional development is tracked and made public via a national stats board that highlights the top performers nationwide. And part three is that educators and academic institutions can use music as a fundraising source in a way that's similar to athletic programs. Right now, students and educators can go to app.nceg.org to sign up and begin the process of bringing our platform to any major college or university in the country. The platform acts as a guide that not only walks students through the process of starting and registering a team, it also facilitates the necessary training material to be effective as a part of a team. In other words, the platform not only teaches you what the positions are, it teaches you how to play them. From there, our standardized structure creates the perfect context for students to compare the results of their work. The platform features guidelines for a music competition structure that leverages each team's influence on their school's population to attract fans, thus growing the brand and value of the student's intellectual property. This allows schools to raise money for their music programs through fundraising, ticket sales, and even sponsorship deals. And just like in sports, as long as the competition is carried out within the guidelines of official NCEG regulations, we can certify the results for additional benefits. But the part that I'm most excited about is the official launch of NCEG Stats. To create this platform, we referenced the performance data of over 150 artists and executives who were awarded special statuses within our program over the course of the last 10 years. This demo features only those in the top 25 with the most complete data set at the time of creation. But as you can see, the platform includes highlights and articles featuring members and alumni, as well as quantifiable data generated based off a student's performance within the program. The data is flexible enough to highlight both high-performing artists and executives and even sort based on genre and individual scoring categories. In conclusion, it is my sincere hope that every single one of you in attendance today joins our coalition to create this new frontier for the music industry. I could go into detail about the billions of dollars that the NCAA generates or how an equivalent structure for the music industry will be game-changing, but I imagine you already know that. Instead, let's talk about what we can do to collectively see this thing happen in the next 5 years. First, we'll get the obligatory nonprofit stuff out of the way. We ask that you either donate or share our crowdfunding campaign. Our goal is to raise $25,000 to launch our first scholarship program by fall of 2025. So I ask that you take your phones out now, scan this QR code to donate, and then share it with friends, family, and your followers on social media. Now we can talk business. Because I understand that not everyone is in the position to be able to donate. So ultimately, NCEG's strategy has always been to accomplish our fundraising goals through regular business operations. That being said, we're actively looking for the following. Number one would be professionals with specialized knowledge and interest in coaching a team. Number two would be educators who work with youth in high school and middle school interested in launching a junior program of NCEG. Third would be business owners and vendors interested in promoting their services or products through our competitions and panel series. And number four would be industry infrastructure partners interested in making their services or resources available to the students in our program. At this time, I want to thank and acknowledge our current partners who have made commitments to support this year's programming. Our training centers, Rise Creative Village and Blue Track Studios, our official event management platform, PeerPop, and our educational content partner, Rap Plug, as well as all of our network partners, Creative Media Industries Institute at Georgia State University, GPP, the Music Business Association, NAM, Women in Music, Symphonic, and Song Trust. Thank you all for your time. Let's get to work.